Here we have a list worksheet that uses Python list variables. Grades is a list variable, and it has a length of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 elements in grades. So len grades simplifies to the number 5. So this exercise number 1, it acts as if you simply used the Python print command to print the number 5. The length of grades is 5. Just count them up. There are 5 numbers there. Exercise 2. We have that same grades variable. It's a list variable. But in the parentheses of the print command, we have to work from inside the parentheses out, order of operations. So we examine grades square brackets 0. Square brackets are called the indexing operator in Python. The square brackets indicate what element in a list you're supposed to focus on. In this case, the element that's considered to be in index position 0 is the element that we're focusing on. Well, my list variable grades, I should have labeled it on this worksheet. So let's do that first. The 87 is considered to be surprisingly in position 0. 70 is considered to be in index position 1, etc. So these numbers that I'm writing above the elements, the numbers are the elements, 87, 70, and 60, etc. Those numbers above that I hand wrote in there are index positions, kind of like street addresses. 0, Main Street. 1, Main Street. If the houses were numbered starting at 0 on Main Street, 87 might be house number 0. Yes, it's confusing. List variables always start their numbering at position 0. So these index positions that I wrote in will be helpful as I do this worksheet in this video. So grades, square brackets 0, that part inside the parentheses of grades simplifies to the number that's found stored in position 0. 87 is what we are printing using the Python print function. 87, in other words, is the answer to number 2. So number 3, it's similar. Grades, square brackets, position 1 would refer to the 70 because it's the 70 that's stored there. So think of it as working from inside out, and as if we had simply print 70 in our Python coding window. Number 4, I'll leave that up to you to do. We're simply putting the number 3 inside the square brackets, just like we had a 0 and a 1 in the previous 2 exercises. Number 5 is a little tricky. Well, you got to work from inside the parentheses out according to the order of operations. So we have a plus sign here, which means we're probably adding up 2 numbers first. So what are we adding up? Grades, square brackets 1, that 1 is in the square brackets. That 1 is an index position, which means that the 70 is the element found in position 1. So put a little 70 here to show good scratch work. That is required on this worksheet. Show as much scratch work as possible. And over here on the other side of the plus sign, grades, square brackets 2. So you come up here and you find the index position 2. You go down into the array, the list variable grades, to see that there's a 60 there. So it's really as if we have a 60 on the right of that plus sign. In other words, it's as if we have print parentheses 70 plus 60, end of parentheses. And now you should be able to do this in your head. You should not need a calculator. You shouldn't even need scratch paper. But 60 plus 70, when you add them up, it's 130, and 130 is therefore what all of that simplifies to, and we simply print parentheses 130. Showing scratch work like this shows a teacher like me that you're doing your own work and that you understand it, and you're not simply copying answers. Number 6, we're seeing the len function for the first time. Len is a function. It's built into Python, and it's short for the word length. Now over here, I made up my own variable name, length of list. And I'm setting length of list equal to whatever len parentheses grades simplifies to. So the way the len function works in Python is that it's always followed by a set of parentheses, and the thing that's in the parentheses should be a list variable that was previously equal to something in your code. Well, grades is equal to something, and it does have a length, like we already saw in exercise 1. The length is 5. It's kind of confusing because the index positions are 0 through 4, but the length is still 5. There are 5 elements. So back to exercise 6, this right-hand side here of the equal symbol simplifies to the number 5. And because of the way the equal symbol works in Python, when you have something equals something, the right-hand side there, the 5 in this case, plugs into a variable name. Now, somewhere on your scratch work, you should keep track of variables with a little column like this. So perhaps you would just print length of list as if you're an accountant or a bookkeeper, and you're keeping track of like somebody's IOU, and kind of like somebody owes you $5, so you put a 5 under their name. Okay, length of list owes me $5. Anyway, that's what happens when I run that line of code, length of list equals len grades. And now I get to this line of code here, print length of list. Well, the current number stored in the variable length of list is, according to my scratch work, 5. And that is what prints as the answer here to exercise 6. It's pretty much the same as exercise 1, but we just used an extra variable on a piece of scratch paper like this length of list. Good computer scientists, good coders, good accountants, well, good people in life that keep track of things like their cash, their money, they use scratch work like this. Okay, exercise 7, we work from inside the parentheses out. You have to subtract 1 there. I'm not going to do number 7 for you. Number 8, number 8's doable. It's just more variables are being used. I create a variable called position of last element. The POS there is just my abbreviation for position. I'm using good variable naming techniques. I'm capitalizing the words last, and element. Okay, number 9 is tricky because the length of grades is 5. 5 minus 1 simplifies to 4 here. And it's a 4 then that we have inside a set of square brackets. So we actually need to analyze what is grades square brackets 4. We come up here to grades, and we see that in position 4 is a 77. So we're actually printing 77. A little tricky. Because the square brackets are being used inside the print parentheses, we have to work from inside out according to the order of operations. Number 10, we're adding up 3 numbers here, and we're adding up whatever's in positions 0, 1, and 2. Well, because this is a new array, grades is being set equal to 8, 7, 9. It's replacing the 87, 70, 60, etc. So this is a new set of elements. A length is 3, We no longer have the number 77, for example, or the number 98 in position 3. So we're adding up 8 plus 7 plus 9. Again, that's something you should be able to do without a calculator. In fact, you should be able to do it with mental math. And then the sum is a variable. We should keep track of sum and know that it's actually storing whatever the sum of 8 plus 7 plus 9 is. I guess that comes out to 24 in my brain at least. And we're printing sum. I'll leave it up to you to put your answer on the worksheet. In number 11, I'm not going to do that for you, but it looks like we're doing some division. We're dividing something and printing the answer. AVE probably is short for average. And number 12, because of the extra inner set of parentheses, we're adding first according to the order of operations. Then we're doing this division. We're, because of parentheses, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, sometimes called GEMDAS, grouping symbols. Parentheses are grouping symbols. Number 13, okay, good luck with these. I'm not going to talk about these in this video. They're tricky. If this is a graded worksheet, these might not even be checked for accuracy. Good luck. Hardly anybody ever gets all these right. So that's a challenge.